Hi everyone. So Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's magnificent victory against Joe Crowley on Tuesday was so important, and I said this beforehand. I said that we needed somebody, the progressive movement sort of needed somebody to take down a big scalp like Joe Crowley or like Debbie Wasserman Schultz, somebody big, because then the media will have to take notice. Then they'll have to take notice, and that will really help the cause, because more people will be exposed to these ideas and this platform. And the media have took notice ever since. She's been all over the networks. They've all been talking about her. This is really, really good. Now, the next day, the following day after she won on the Tuesday. On the Wednesday, she was actually on Morning Joe, which is obviously a huge show in America. She acquitted herself brilliantly, as you would expect from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She's been fantastic in interviews right from the very beginning. This was her on Morning Joe. Now, I'm just going to take the last, I think, 2.5, 3 minutes of the whole segment. She talked about a lot of things, and they gave her a lot of praise, but the last segment of it was, for me, the most important bit. So it's in two little sections that I've cut down here. So let's just watch the first one.
What's your advice now? Because everyone in the political world is going to go back now and look at your campaign and look what you did over the last several months and say, what can we learn from it? How should we model our campaigns? How can we take back the House this fall? How can we take back the White House in a couple of years? What do you say to people as they watch your campaign? Because you stayed on your message the whole time. I think it was reflected last night when Joe Crowley conceded at his event that he started by dedicating a song to you and congratulating you. That sort of the tenor of the campaign was about a message and not about personal fights.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is something that we have to stick to the message. What are we proposing to the American people? Not what are we fighting against? We understand that we're under an antagonistic administration, but what is the vision that is going to earn and deserve the support of working class Americans? And we need to be explicit in that vision and that legislation, not just better, but what exactly is our plan? And that, when we do that, working class Americans, when we're bold about it, when we say we stand up for immigrants, when we stand up for the LGBTQ community, when we believe that every working class American deserves the opportunity to change their economic destiny and their children's future, that's the message that we need to bring into the midterm.
That's the message that you need to bring into the midterms. This is what channels like mine and people like me have been saying now for quite some time. You need to give somebody a reason to vote for them. Don't give them no reason and then shame them for not voting for you, which is basically what the Democrats and the Democratic establishment do. Actually give them a reason to come out and vote. How do you do that? You run on policies that would help these people, that these people deserve. Run on policies such as Medicare for all, which the rest of the Western world has and has had for quite some time, and America still doesn't. And obviously the health problem in America is huge. These are the things that get people out to vote. And she mentioned not just better there. I'm sure she was referencing a better deal, which is Nancy Pelosi's useless platform, which is we'll fight for 15-ish around 2025-ish, and we want everybody to have access to healthcare. These don't inspire people. Just doesn't inspire people. She inspired people because of her message. Remember, this is a woman who was outspent by Joe Crowley, over 17-1. It's a massive, massive victory, this is, and I'm so glad that she went on Morning Joe, because it's a huge program, and she acquitted herself brilliantly. This is the last bit of the segment I'm going to show here, and this is Mika and Joe sort of giving their how they see things now, and it really is, it's quite eye-opening to hear what they say. So, check it out.
And Joe, what's your big takeaway looking at this race?
Well, the big takeaway is we talked about it in 2016. Look at the people who did really well. Donald Trump on the Republican side, Bernie Sanders on the Democratic side, the antithesis of each other, but each had a message. Each had a bold message. People on the right didn't like Bernie's. A lot of us didn't like Donald Trump's. But that said, there's a bold message. the opposite of what the Democratic Party in Washington, D.C. has, the opposite of what Hillary Clinton had. And then, most importantly, once you have that message, it's the fundamentals. I always called it the blocking and tackling. It was the knocking on doors. It was putting yard signs out there. It was getting on the phones. It was getting people out to vote, having phone banks, having people in churches and synagogues, having people all over your district doing everything they could day in and day out. And you worked harder. You know, when people always came to me and said, what's the secret of winning? How did you do this? Nobody expected you to win. I said, it's very simple. You get up earlier than everybody else. You go to bed later than everybody else. And you work harder in between those 2 points. All you have to do are those 3 things, and you've got a shot of winning too. And it sounds like that's exactly what Alexandria did.
Yeah.
And even more importantly than that, she has a message that the Democrats have not had.
Well, and that message, by the way, did not take her 3 minutes to spew out, droning on and on and on. And I will tell you, in the 2 years running up to Hillary Clinton's campaign and election night, I asked every Democrat that came on this set, I asked Hillary Clinton, I asked all of Hillary Clinton's supporters, because she was so unavailable, what's the message? What's the message? What's the message? And the answer was always 2 to 3 minutes long, kind of placating, kind of in the middle of nowhere, nothing, ultimately. This very young candidate has a clear, concise message. It took her less than 30 seconds to say it, because she knows exactly what it is. It is who she is. It's where she came from, and it's what she wants to do. So I would love everyone to take a look at this interview and take a look at what her message is. Don't steal her message. Find your own, Democrats, okay? And believe in it. Because we got nothing to hold on to at this point but our party and what our message is. And if we focus on Trump, which I don't think you even mentioned today.
No.
And yet, you know, at this point, an entire district is swept up by you. It's something to look at, and we appreciate what you've done.
Thank you.
Okay, so Mika, I'm not a big fan of Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski, but she nailed that. She absolutely nailed that, and he did too. He said, "Hard work on the ground, get boots on the ground, hard work, get a team around you," which is what Alexandria did. She's one of the biggest reasons why she won. But Mika was spot on, and the only thing I disagree there with her when she said, "Don't don't copy her message, get your own message." No. Copy her message. Copy what she said, because that inspires people, because those are the things that people actually support in America. The Democrats don't have a message, and that's something that she brought up there, and that was spot on. They lead with their values. They're for good things and not bad things. When you put hope on the ballot, they win. These are not policies. These are not things to vote for. The only thing that Democrats got is we're not Trump, vote against him by picking us. And that just perpetuates the status quo, 2 right-wing parties going forward. That's not going to win. It's not going to inspire anybody. And I think the media now have took notice of it. How long this carries on for, whether it carries on to the midterms, we'll have to wait and see. I think maybe it will, because there's something like 13 or 14 Justice Democrats or brand new people from brand new Congress running in the midterms now. Alexandria is obviously going to win from a New York district. That's nailed on. So that's at least one that they're going to have congressperson actually progressive. It's the start of a caucus they might have come November. It's huge. Other commentators have said other stuff. I've seen Ben Shapiro actually, I saw say that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was asked on Morning Joe what her platform was and how she's going to pay for it, and she gave a wishy-washy answer that didn't lead anywhere. Well, no, what she said was, we've just given a $400 million or whatever it was tax cut to the rich. That could have paid for it. There are so many other things that could pay for healthcare and the college and all these progressive things. It's all going to waste. Nobody ever asks, how are we going to pay for this when an extra $80 billion is put on the defence budget, or rather the war chest, as I call it. It was a great answer. Ben Shapiro just misrepresented it and lied. And I believe that was on Fox. I've seen other contributors on CNN and MSNBC talk about this as well, and not in a good light, saying it's the opposite of Trump on the left wing, which is just rubbish as well. But this is the thing that really made me laugh. They've took it so serious. MSNBC even did a segment on what a democratic socialist is. I shit you not. Take a look.
Welcome back to Velshi and Rule. With Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's primary win Tuesday night here in New York, the term democratic socialism was the most searched term on Merriam-Webster's website. So what are we talking about here? The word most people focus on is socialism. But while democratic socialists pull some ideas from that ideology, they are not traditional socialists. There is no call for communal ownership of production. Here's what else it is not. Communism. Most people use communism and socialism interchangeably, even Karl Marx. But communism is a political ideology, while socialism centers more on economics. They're related, but none of this has to do with democratic socialists. What they do call for is the enactment of certain socialist ideas through the democratic process, meaning everyone has a vote on whether they are a good idea or not. In many countries, democratic socialists work alongside other parties in broad coalitions. Their goal is to control prices of essential services like medicine, banking regulations, affordable education, and the ability to work. All sounds reasonable. All of that is in the effort to minimize economic inequality and allow everyone in society to not just survive, but have the ability to thrive and enjoy life, a concept they call bread and roses. And if you think some of these ideas are too alien to American culture, take a look at this. Social Security is a pension system run by the government. Medicaid and Medicare are government-run medical services. Even Amtrak is a government-owned transportation system. All of these are hallmarks of democratic socialist policy.
So that was a good segment. It was actually a good segment. It described democratic socialism quite well. It even brought up something I've been bringing up for quite some time. You already pay in America for healthcare. You've already got a socialist healthcare sort of. It's called Medicare and Medicaid. But if you look at this chart, just look at that. Look how much, the green bar, you're spending as much per person on medicine, on socialized medicine in Medicare and Medicaid as other countries. But why isn't it going as far? Other countries, obviously, they cover everybody else. They cover everybody. Whether they're homeless, they still get health care. The reason, of course, is profit. It all goes to the top, and that's something that they brought up in that. The inequality, the wealth inequality. This is what it constricts. This is what it stops. It squeezes it back down. It brings the poor up, and obviously brings the rich, who can afford it, down a little bit. And obviously, here's the healthcare cost since 1970 through to 2016. Just look at how the United States is rising there. That's 17% of the GDP of the country. That's massive. Massive. It should be nowhere near that. It should be below 10%. And the reason it's not below 10%, it could be if you were to actually take the profit out. It's very, very simple process. It's done in other countries all around the world. It's done in my country. We love our healthcare. We want more money to be spent on it. It's really good to see the amount of mainstream media news outlets now that are actually taking notice. I saw one tweet, I'll put it up here if I can remember it, by Joy Reid saying, oh, everybody, all political journalists are now doing a crash course on Ocasio-Cortez. It's like, no, they're not. Not all of them. Not all of them. I was aware of her well over a year ago. I'm in the UK, Joy. I'm in the UK, and all I have is an internet connection. You are in a multi-billion dollar organisation with a team of people around you to talk to you about this, and you don't know who she is? Just quit your job, man. Just quit your job. If you didn't know who she was before Tuesday, just quit your job. Because any political journalists worth their salt knew about her. Everybody at The Intercept knew about her. Everybody at Young Turks knew her. All the progressive channels on YouTube, we all knew about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. The fact that you didn't just shows how crap you are. And I just want to end this on one last point as well, because somebody's brought up, again, I'll put it up here if I can find it. Somebody's brought up that there's a vehement anti-war statement and pro-peace statement on Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's website, which is run, I think, by other people. And that vanished. The little statement on peace, which was a good statement, it vanished and it was off the website. Apparently she didn't know anything about it. She says we're looking into it. It's run by somebody else. But there's a lot of people on Twitter who are making a big noise about it. Guys, this is what she tweeted out about Palestine. Do you really think she's going to change her stance now she's going to be a congresswoman? I don't think so. I don't think that she's that sort of person at all. And to these people who are making the noise about it and saying, oh, she's going to be one of them and she's going to change her position now she's in, don't be daft. This is an oversight. It's a technical oversight. I'm sure it's going to be back in there. But shout as loud as you want, because the more press that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez gets, bad press and good press, the more attention she has and the more spotlight is put on her, especially in the mainstream media, the better, as far as I'm concerned. If you enjoyed this video, please click the bell down there and subscribe so you get a notification of next time I drop a video. Also, I can't do this without your help, so if you can afford it and you enjoy my videos, please support the channel by subscribing to my Patreon. Link is down there. You can do it for as little as $1 a month, and it really does help. If you can't afford it, that's fine. Please share my work and talk to other people about the issues that I bring up. Thanks very much for your support. Until next time, peace and take care.